matching up against J.J. Watt. The kickoff is straight ahead. Welcome back to a beautiful day in Charlotte, North Carolina. The sun is shining. It is 83 degrees. It is tradition here in Charlotte. Prior to a Panthers game, to pound the drum. Keep pounding is the phrase in honor of the late Carolina Panther player and coach, Sam Mills. And the honors today fall to NBA MVP Steph Curry, who hails from these parts. Just as well as he drops the three-pointers. Let's go down to Jamie Erdahl. Jamie.
Well, Greg, with Luke Kuechly out with the concussion, you and Trent mentioned the big hole up the middle that now resolves in this Panthers defense. Now that responsibility falls to backup third-year pro A.J. Klein. Ron Rivera told us that he's very lucky this linebacking group is already very vocal. In fact, this summer, the Panthers mic'd up the linebackers and the safeties at OTAs and mini camps and had the players listen back to those tapes to make sure they were communicating properly on the field. Now that responsibility, because Luke Kuechly calls the defensive plays with this team, falls to A.J. Klein. Greg?
Thank you, Jamie. I think Ron Rivera told us yesterday that a lot of people were very surprised at what they heard on those tapes when they were played back.
Yeah, you sometimes as a player, you don't necessarily know all the conversations that go on. You know what you're focused on, but some of that can be a surprise.
Carolina on the receiving end of the opening kick, and it will not be returned. Houston won the toss and deferred. So that means Cam Newton, the Carolina quarterback, number 1 pick overall back in 2011, 175 yards and a touchdown throwing last week, and another 55 on the ground, Trent.
He's a combination threat. We talked about that in the opening. The fact that as a defensive unit, the Texans need to maintain their rush lanes. They need to maintain their gaps, because if you leave a crease, Cam Newton will find it.
Jonathan Stewart in the backfield, along with Cam Newton, who will work out of the shotgun. And he will throw on first down. Sideline, going for the interception on the pass to Greg Olsen was number 27, Quentin Demps. Brian Khalil is the veteran in the middle of the Panthers offensive line in his 9th season out of USC. And Jonathan Stewart rushed for 56 yards in last week's win at Jacksonville. He caught 4 passes for another 25. 2nd and 10. Newton on the quick slant, and that's incomplete. Off the fingertips of Ted Ginn Jr. Texans have the best defensive player in football up front in J.J. Watt. After an injury-plagued rookie season, Houston feels last year's number 1 overall pick, Jadeveon Clowney, is rounding into playing shape. And like Clowney, quarterback Jonathan Joseph hails from Rock Hill, South Carolina, just 27 miles from here. 3rd and 10. Penalty markers fly. And that looked like number 74, Mike Remmers, the right tackle.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Cleet Blakeman is our referee today.
The Carolina, talking last week's game, not getting the ball to Greg Olsen enough, coming down on first down there, trying to squeeze it to him, and Quentin Demps, as you said, Greg, was all over it. Then on 2nd down, can't put a little heat on that one on the slant route to Ted Ginn. You see the pressure coming off the slot here as the flag comes in.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's Brian Cushing. So the Texans taketh and they giveth away.
What's important here on 3rd down, keep an eye on where Greg Olsen's going to be and where that matchup's going to be in the middle of the field.
Newton tipped as it left his hand, and it falls incomplete. Like Brian Cushing may have been in on the Carolina quarterback, and it'll be the punting unit onto the field.
Well, you have to be calculated with the pressure that you bring, and Romeo Cornell talked to me about that. He said with Cam Newton, you have to maintain those rush lanes. You want to put pressure on him, but you want to keep him in the pocket, because when he breaks outside the pocket, that's when you really expose what's going on the defensive side of the ball.
Brad Nortman will kick it away to Keith Mumphrey. This is returnable from the 20. Across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. 60-yard punt and an 8-yard return. And here comes number 15, Ryan Mallett, in his 5th season out of Arkansas, making only his 3rd career start today, appearing in just his 9th NFL game. His job to keep, Trent.
You know, Ryan Mallett isn't on a short leash. We talked to Coach O'Brien about that, and he said, you know, from a playing experience standpoint, Ryan Mallett has less playing experience, so they want to give him an opportunity to see what he can do, and obviously that's why he's getting the start here today.
Little mix-up on the snap. Looks like Mallett might have gotten the ball sooner than he expected it. Starting left tackle Dwayne Brown out with a hand injury today, making for a major shuffling on the line. Chris Clark replaces him. Jeff Adams and Derek Newton switch sides. Arian Foster not ready yet to return at running back. DeAndre Hopkins had the big day last week with 98 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11 for Mallett. Into the hands and dropped by Garrett Graham. Up front for the Panther defense, Charles Johnson has 62.5 career sacks. Kyle Love starts for Star Latulele, who's not yet back from foot surgery. Middle linebacker Luke Kuechly out with the concussion protocol. We told you A.J. Klein starts for him. And cornerback Josh Norman had quite the day last week. A forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a 30-yard pick 6. 3rd and 11. Mallett with the quick pass outside, going nowhere. Hit at the 20-yard line. Josh Norman.
Josh Norman anticipated that and jumped all over it. Trying to get a quick wide receiver screen as Norman reads it from the snap. Beats the block and is able to come up with the tackle for loss.
And we asked Josh Norman yesterday, do you like to talk on the field? He said, a little bit.
He said, I don't like to start it, but I'll finish it if someone else wants to get going.
Ted Ginn Jr. is deep. And makes the call for the fair catch, and we get a penalty marker down on the near sideline. So here's Clete Blakeman.
Personal foul. Receiving team number 21. Player went out of bounds and blocked an opponent. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Carolina.
That's Teddy Williams, a spare cornerback for Carolina. So that is going to back Cam Newton and the Panthers up. And we'll take a timeout with 13:11 to play in the first. This is the NFL on CBS. Second Carolina penalty of the day as the Panthers starting from their own 15-yard line, and that's Jonathan Stewart. Time for us to go green. Trent?
We talked about the pass rush and the pressure that the 2 outside edges bring. Here, J.J. Watt to your left and Jadeveon Clowney to the right. It looks like they're going to pressure with the blitz, but the inside guys drop out in the zone blitz. Clowney comes from right to left up the middle, bring pressure up the slot. The number 4 defender that you see there, that does not allow Alex Smith to set his feet. Flushes Alex Smith into the pocket, and that's where J.J. Watt picks up the sack.
We have an injured Carolina Panther on one knee at the 17-yard line. Looks to be maybe Trey Turner, the right guard. And with that, we will take a break with 12:52 to play in the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Here in Charlotte, one of the best places for fan and player interaction. That was the Panthers in an after-practice feast with some of the locals. Here's a handoff to Jonathan Stewart, and Stewart out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Let's go back to that injury and see what happened.
Well, let's take a look right here. You'll see his ankle gets rolled up on by Vince Wilfork. Watch here as the play continues. Wilfork just falls right into the back of his leg. You don't want to speculate. Obviously, it's a lower leg injury. Right now, Chris Scott is in the game at right guard.
That's 6'2", 325 falling on your ankle.
And that's what's on paper.
On 3rd and 4, Cam Newton with time throwing and came up way short of his intended receiver. Kareem Jackson, the nearest. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Greg, I know it looked like that left ankle got rolled on too, but when they came to the sideline, Trey Turner was actually having his left knee worked on, and he just walked down the tunnel on his own accord with no help, but they wanted to go check it out a little more.
All right, Jamie, thank you. So no first downs for Carolina on this possession either.
Well, the one putting pressure on Cam Newton on that last play was J.J. Watt. He was being double-teamed by tight end by Ed Dixon, and the running back was able to get through pressure Cam Newton.
This is Mumphrey, back to his own 19. Switching direction a couple of times. Penalty flag flies in from behind as he is brought down at about the 33 or 34-yard line. And now another flag is thrown. The laundry's out early today, Trent.
Yeah, there have been a few, a lot early on. I think it's important, though, as the Texans take the field here to get Ryan Mallett into some kind of rhythm. I know that first series they tried the wide receiver screen. They tried the quick throw into the flat. Neither one of those was successful. I think it's important to get him into a little bit of a rhythm here early on.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 57. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. First down, Houston.
So Justin Tuggle is guilty of the foul on the play. Boy, there are some key people missing from this Houston versus Carolina matchup today. Arian Foster still not ready to play yet after groin surgery. Dwayne Brown, we told you, out with the hand injury. Luke Kuechly's concussion, and Star Lotulelei not yet ready to play after foot surgery. First down. Play fake. Mallett on the move, throwing in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Nate Washington. And Washington had lots and lots of room to run.
Well, the Texans had pretty much sold out on the fact that they were going to throw this ball deep. They had DeAndre Hopkins on the far side of the field going deep, and Nate Washington on the underneath trying to drag across. That's a delicate throw to make when you have the defender cutting underneath, and with Mallett on the rollout, that makes it a much more difficult throw for him. He would rather stand in the pocket, anchor his feet, as opposed to being thrown on the move.
That's not his play as much as it is Brian Hoyer's, is it?
Well, when you get flush like that, that falls more into what Hoyer's strength is as opposed to Mallett's.
2nd and 10. Short pass over the middle, incomplete. And the whistle looked like he ran out of time on the play clock.
Well, and that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Houston takes a timeout. This will be their first timeout.
So to avoid the penalty, Houston took a timeout early. The first one used in the game, 11:42 to play in the first. Back to Carolina after this. There's Brian Hoyer, week 1 starter for the Houston Texans. 2nd and 10 now for Mallett. Not much offense on display here today. He steps up and throws over the middle and throws low for the tight end, Garrett Graham. So far, -6 total yards on offense for Houston, +6 for Carolina, which adds up to 0 total yards for both teams so far today.
You know, if you're into defensive football, this is the place to be right now. Neither quarterback has gotten comfortable. Cam Newton's been under pressure on one end of the field, and Ryan Mallett has yet to settle down. That time they were having the tight end across the middle. starting to fire it a little too hard, overstriding and yanking the ball on the ground.
3rd and 10. Mallett throwing this side and has his man across the 35 and out of bounds at about the 38 or 39-yard line, DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, and that's just a straight bullet there, Greg. DeAndre is going to get an outside release here, trying to get across Josh Norman's face. He crosses it on the sideline. Mallett has the ability to step up and just throws a laser on the sideline. That arm strength was on display on that play.
Josh Norman told us Hopkins is the bell cow for this offense. New set of downs for Mallett. 1st down, Texans from their own 38. And Mallett to the near side, and again, that's Hopkins in and out of his hands. And Norman was right there. DeAndre Hopkins played well in the debut last week against Kansas City. Tied a career high with 9 catches, 98 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and also had a 2-point conversion.
Well, and that's coming off of a big season a year ago, over 1,200 yards receiving. There's his mom there, trying to stay cool.
Yeah. He gave us to Chris Polk, and Polk can't get out of the grasp of Kurt Coleman.
Polk is their change of pace back. They put him on the field. Good receiver out of the backfield. Tends to be an outside the tackles type of runner. That time getting a draw up the middle.
3rd and 5.
Get man-to-man down here with Hopkins and Norman.
Jumping over the line of scrimmage is number 97, Mario Addison, who had 2 sacks last week.
Offside. Defense, number 97. Unabated the quarterback. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Mario Addison right here on the edge. He's the one that gets jumped off sides last week, having 2 sacks in the game against Jacksonville.
Just a little early.
Get a little antsy. Wanted to pick up that 3rd sack of the season.
Three penalties last week for Carolina, 3 already today. 2 tight ends now for Houston on 3rd and 1. Chris Polk the deep back, but they give it to the first back through Jake Prosch. And Prosch across midfield and into Carolina territory for a 1st down. Hey, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now. Prosch with his first carry of the season gets a 1st down.
56 leading now. They still
1st down.
Got a pair.
Mallett on the quick slant, looking for Hopkins, and we get a penalty marker flying.
Looks like they're going to call Josh Norman on the hold. Hopkins just running the slant route.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Tell you what, Greg, even from up here, both quarterbacks have had a chance to throw a slant today, and they both are firing it in there. Here at the bottom of your screen, Norman, you can see gets a hold of the left shoulder pad of DeAndre Hopkins, and that's what draws the flag. Tend to make that a little bit more catchable ball on the slant. Both guys are trying to fire it in there. That usually means the coverage is too tight to make that throw.
Chandler Worthy in the backfield now, but Mallett has no place to throw it, and so he just bounces it off the turf. Things looking very uneven on offense right now for Houston.
Well, and you have to remember there's a lot of changes on that offensive line with Dwayne Brown out of the game. Newly added Chris Clark just picked up in a trade from Denver, is now playing left tackle. Right tackle Derek Newton is over to left guard. You still have Jones at center and Brooks at right guard, but Jeff Adams is playing right tackle. So you have 3 of the 5 offensive linemen have changed from a week ago.
The give is to Cecil Shorts III, and Shorts battles his way to about the Carolina 42 or 43-yard line.
See Shorts coming in motion there, and just a quick flip, almost a shovel pass, really.
You know, last week J.J. Watt lost his helmet on a play. These Texans have to use a better glue.
Yeah, and he didn't quit on the play. He ended up getting the sack even without the helmet.
3rd and 8. Mallett in the pocket, wide open over the middle. Jonathan Grimes out of the backfield, inside the 30 for a first down. Mallett calling the troops to order. Grimes to about the 25-yard line.
Trying to get in some tempo now, picking up a couple first downs. You can see the Texans are staying up at the line of scrimmage, trying to hurry that tempo up. Doesn't allow the defense to change bodies out. We talked about Sean McDermott liked to change, keeping fresh bodies in on defense.
Mallett on the move, throwing. Just misses connections with Nate Washington.
Wes Horton applying the pressure for Carolina, coming off the edge. Mallett trying to buy time with his feet, rolling out of the pocket. Washington just with a corner route. He tries drawing the defense to sleep by coming inside and then heading off to the corner. Once again, Mallett on the move is not necessarily the thing he's most comfortable with.
3rd and 6. With Grimes in the backfield once again.
You see Hopkins and Norman matched up at the top of the screen again.
Mallett, quick pass off the fingertips of Keith Mumphrey, and he was open.
Good decision by Mallett going away from that roll coverage. They tend to be rolling coverage over towards where Hopkins is if it's not man-to-man. This time Mumphrey sits open right in the middle of the zone. You see the 3 defenders around him. Good read, good route, just bad execution on squeezing that ball.
Yeah, you got to catch that one. Here's Randy Bullock. From 43 yards. And it is good. So with 7:57 to play in the first, the Houston Texans jump on top, 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
Back at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, 3-0 in favor of the Houston Texans. They go 53 yards in 13 plays, and Bullock with the 43-yard field goal. Fozzie Whitaker is deep along with Joe Webb. And no one gets a chance to return this one. The touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Hey, your weekend begins right here with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Washington visits Eli Manning and the New York Giants right here on your home, the Super Bowl 50. CBS Sports. Look at the Giants. They lead that series all time. They've won 5 of the last 6 outings. Trey Turner back onto the field at right guard now for Carolina. And Cam Newton trying to avoid another 3-and-out. Newton across the 30 for a first down.
Cam Newton with a big first down there on the run, but going back to his first 4 pass attempts, doesn't have a completion yet. Coming out early trying to get the ball to Greg Olsen. Depps undercuts it. That time just throwing it too hard on the slant route to Ted Ginn, and then the next 2 pass attempts get tipped at the line of scrimmage. So starting this game off 0 for 4.
Newton still looking for that first completion, pushes it, and being tumbled to the ground is Jonathan Stewart. And that wasn't pretty. Let's get our first update of the day. Back to New York, JB and Coach Cowher.
Greg, as you know, turnovers hurt. After Terrence West fumble, Isaiah Crowell takes us in from 11 yards out, gives Cleveland a 14-0 lead over Tennessee. Back to Greg, Trent, and Jamie.
JB, turnovers hurt us. I know they kill Coach Cowher. Loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13. Newton from behind. Jadeveon Clowney disrupting that play.
He's coming off the edge up top. You'll see he's able to beat that pressure or beat the block off the edge, and Cam trying to get the ball out of his hand, and that's the 3rd time now. 6 pass attempts, 3 of them his arm's either been hit or the ball's been tipped.
Veteran coach Romeo Cornell, the defensive coordinator. 3rd and 13. Newton got rid of it in a hurry. Near side, complete to Philly Brown, and Brown crossed the 30 out to about the 33 or 34, not nearly enough for a first down.
And the thing that has impressed me about both these defenses is the way they swarm to the football as we got a player injured down on the field.
Looks like Jericho Cotchery, who was in on the blocking on that play. So they will look at him. We will take a timeout with 6:25 to play in the first quarter.
And Jericho Cotchery is on the right side of your screen there. He's going to fall over the top of his teammate, Ed Dixon.
Keith Mumphrey, top down, and a penalty marker flies. Mumphrey hit by Teddy Williams, number 21. Let's see what the penalty is. Do officials get sore arms when the penalty markers fly as much?
Cleats being very thorough today. There have been a lot of flags here early on. We've seen a lot of good defense and a lot of penalties. That's how this first quarter has gone so far.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 21. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Houston.
The penalty is on Darrell Morris. Let's go back to that play that injured Jericho Cotchery. You see loading onto the cart there.
We'll see Cotchery here on the right side of the screen, and watch teammate Ed Dixon as he's trying to get a block here. It's Dixon that falls right into the back right leg of Cotchery, who needed help off the field, and we saw right before we went to that he is getting carted to the locker room.
We'll update you as soon as we know. Meanwhile, Alfred Blue. And Blue out to about the 17-yard line. Want to remind you that Week 2 continues later today on Fox, and then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. I didn't get a chance to tell you, Trent, how thrilled I was to see that you survived the summer of Deflategate.
That was brought up over and over and over again. So I think just like everybody else, we're glad that it's or it appears to be over with for now.
Chandler Worthy going nowhere. Wrapped up back at the 10 and a couple of penalty markers. While Kyle Love was celebrating, Charles Johnson was depressed.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Defense number 95. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down, Houston.
Charles Johnson says it's on me.
He's given the my bad. Here's Johnson 95 here on the right side of your screen.
I'd say he got it.
That's one of those ones, oops. See the left hand pulling the face mask. He immediately looked at the official like, did you see it? I felt it, but did you see it?
A big CJ, everybody
sure
saw it. Five and a half to play here in the first. Quick pass, near side. This is Worthy. And not much of anything, maybe out for about 3 or 4 yards. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Greg, we saw Jericho Cotchery walk off the field, couldn't put any weight on that right foot until he got to the cart. They checked out his right ankle. He is questionable to return. A couple of his teammates walked over, including Greg Olsen, to give him some support before he left the field.
All right, Jamie, thank you. We'll keep an ear open for Jericho Cotchery. This is Alfred Blue, and Alfred Blue cannot spin out of trouble, and he is stacked up at about the 33.5-yard line.
Good commitment by Kirk Coleman. See him there on the screen. He's came up in run support. Once he saw the tight end block, that's who he was lined up over in man-to-man coverage. As soon as he saw Fedorowicz go into a blocking stance, then he came on the pressure and was able to make that tackle.
This is a game in need of some offense by someone. 3rd and 7. Mallett throws and hits Jonathan Grimes out of the backfield, and a late flag. 1, 2, 3, 4 flags.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 58. A late hit on the runner. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Houston.
You know, if you could grab Thomas Davis and tell him, you know, one ref might be wrong, but 4 flags flying, it was kind of a given.
Especially when you hit to the head or neck area. Here the player is already down. See Davis come flying in, put that right shoulder right into Grimes' chin pretty much as he's laying on the ground.
That is the 3rd first down by penalty for the Houston Texans. Mallett, deep drop, down the sideline, looking for Hopkins. Incomplete at the goal line. Covered by Norman with a little help from Roman Harper, the safety.
So you got Harper in the middle of the field. It's man-to-man coverage. You'll see Hopkins is here. Right back here is Harper. He's going to try getting back. Mallett comes back off the play fake. You watch the arm strength he has. His feet aren't really set. He's falling to his left, and he's just able to flick that ball out there. Good 55, 60 yards.
2nd and 10.
Offensive coordinator George Godsey, you see right there on the sideline.
Mallett throwing. A little miscommunication on the far side. Charles Tillman almost came up with the interception. Pass intended from Mumphrey. It'll be 3rd and 10.
And that time there, I believe Mallett just misses on the backside here. You're going to see Josh Norman. He's going to come on the pressure over here, and then you're going to have an out route. When you have that type of pressure coming from the backside, you can see on the front it's a zone. Here you have an open receiver on the backside. That's being aware from a protection standpoint. It was picked up by the back. But that's just Mallett being aware with that rotation and that coverage. He's got the one-on-one on the backside.
3rd and 10 for the Texans. The screen, Grimes, and Grimes forward to about the 41. That'll be about 5 yards shy of a first down. And no sign of the punting unit coming on yet.
We talked about this with Coach O'Brien about his decisions of when you want to be risky, and it's calculated risk. How do you feel? He obviously feels very confident in what his defense is doing to be able to go forward at this position of the field.
4th and 5. They need the 36-yard line for a first down.
Watch the combination of players up here. You have a bunch formation. You have 3 players together. That causes confusion by the defense if you can pick somebody off.
Out of the backfield is Grimes, and he is about 2 yards short of a first down. Shaq Thompson, the first-round draft pick out of Washington, made the hit. So with that, the ball will go over on downs. That drive cut short, and Carolina in possession when we come back. Look at the Panthers' first 3 possessions. What does that tell you, Trent?
That tells you why Bill O'Brien went for it on 4th down at the 41-yard line. It's having that confidence in his defense, the way they've been able to get Carolina off the field.
Carolina had great time of possession in their opener last week, more than 34 minutes. They've had in their first 3 possessions, they've possessed the football for 24 seconds, a minute 19, and a minute 32. Cam Newton now on first down. Play fake. Lots of time. And now Newton takes off and dives across the 40, out to about the 42-yard line. Clock continues to move. 2:40 to play here in the first quarter.
And this is where Houston, they're going to go deep here, but Houston, they're only going to rush 4 guys on their defensive front and drop 7 into coverage. They typically, so you've got 4 guys here in the rush, but then look at all these bodies back here in coverage. You've only got 3 receivers.
On 2nd and 6, they give us to Stewart. Stewart shakes a tackler at the 40 and is out of bounds just as he crosses midfield and into Houston territory at the 48-yard line. Run out of bounds by Justin Tuggle.
Well, and finishing up with my last thought, that was a good decision by Cam Newton to run the football, not force it downfield. This time on the draw play to Stewart, he's able to break, contain, and get outside and pick up the first down.
Cam Newton, 2 carries for 15 yards so far today, and this is Stewart. Stewart shaking another tackler in the backfield, but then hit hard as he approached the 45-yard line. Tuesday, it's a matchup you don't want to miss. Stephen Colbert goes one-on-one with Donald Trump this Tuesday on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. We are in the last minute and a half of the first quarter. Mike Tolbert in the backfield with Newton on 2nd and 7.
We go I see. Zero. Ready.
Cam goes for a little walk in the backfield, a little play fake, and now he throws to the sideline, and that is complete to the tight end, Greg Olsen. Out of bounds about a yard short of a first down.
And Cam Newton was hit low that time by J.J. Watt. It looks like he's going to get blocked into it. Actually, it wasn't Watt. It was John Simon coming off that side. Officials are pretty protective of quarterbacks' legs, but when they're blocked down into it, they're not going to make that call. Good accurate throw with someone all over him.
Forward progress was marked at the 38, which is enough for a first down. So the Panthers knocking on the door. Straight drop for Newton. He's going to go for it all down the far side of the field. Caught! And out of bounds. Ted Ginn Jr.
Even though Cam's eyes weren't over there from the beginning of the play, he knew he had man-to-man coverage based on the rotation. Here you have Ginn one-on-one with Jackson going down the left sideline. As soon as Newton leaves from center, he notices safety in the middle of the field. He knows what his route is. It's already built in. Keeping his eyes, keeping that safety to the middle of the field and taking a shot down the sideline.
2nd and 10. Setting up the screen, and that almost blew up in his face. To Mike Tolbert and Bernardrick McKinney. The rookie linebacker out of Mississippi State was right there.
What a great read by McKinney. That ball almost could have been a pick six with the way that Cam Newton floats this ball. You're going to see McKinney coming here from the middle of the field. He reads it. Newton has to just plop it up over the top of the rushers, really have nothing on it. Heck of a play by the young man out of Mississippi State.
Makes it a 3rd and 13 for Carolina. And we will come to the end of the first quarter before the snap. We played one here in Carolina. 3-0 Houston. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl back in Charlotte. We're all in agreement that neither team is burning up the offensive numbers. 3rd and 13. Newton with good protection over the middle, in and out of the hands of Ted Ginn Jr. And that time, Newton was right on target.
Well, he's beating Jonathan Joseph. Ginn is just on a dig route. You see this ball hits him right in the chest. He jumps up, and instead of catching it with his hands, he jumps up and tries to catch it with his body. That's ultimately what leads to the ball hitting his shoulder pads, or the chest plate of his shoulder pads, and causing the ball to bounce off. That's really the first time Cam Newton's had an opportunity to throw the ball downfield cleanly. The other times he's been under pressure or the guys have been covered.
Brad Nortman trying to plant this one inside the 5-yard line and takes, let's see, it'll be marked into the end zone. So it did cross the goal line, then came out for the touchback, and that means that Houston will start from its own 20-yard line.
You'll watch the ball as it just crosses right on the goal line there.
Had the right bounce on it. Look at that shot. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. I was proud of you. We get to North Carolina, you get to whip out your accent a little bit, work on that.
Got some barbecue around here too.
Yeah, they might. Chris Polk on the carry for a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. Kyle Love with the tackle.
Here's Mallett and some of his early throws. You can see when he sets his feet, he's got a strong arm and he's accurate. This next one, he has a little too much heat on it. But he's more productive when he's able to anchor his feet in there and fire the football as opposed to moving around, and that's been evident here, or at least up to now in the first quarter.
They'll give it to Polk again, and Polk out to about the 25 for a pickup of 4, and it'll be 3rd and 5. Kurt Coleman up from the secondary.
Well, and George Godsey told us, the offensive coordinator for the Texans, told us last week against Kansas City, falling behind the way they did, they don't want to throw the ball 50 times a game. They didn't want to put the ball in the air that much. That's just the necessity because of the way that game was going. They'd like to have some balance, and they're having a hard time today running the football as well.
Houston has run the ball 8 times, thrown it 17 so far today, and Mallett to throw here. And that pass, making the diving catch on the far side, is DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Josh Norman says, take a look at that. I don't think so.
You know, I'm all the way on the other side of the stadium, and I know that official's 10 yards away from him, but it looked to me like it hit the ground from way over here. But
and on that replay, it looked the same. So Ron Rivera is going to challenge this. You know, that looked a lot like a Steph Curry dribble.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
So they'll take a look. We'll take a break. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 50. We take another look. We get to say hello for the first time today to Mike Carey, our officiating expert. What'd you think, Mike?
Hey, Greg. Well, the rule is if the ball hits the ground before the receiver has control, it's incomplete. You can see the receiver may have had his hand over a portion of the ball under it, but the ball clearly hits the ground. This is an obvious, clear reversal.
This is an obvious layup for Mike Carey. Do you realize that?
we got to bring Mike in for the tougher ones.
All right, Mike, thank you.
That's right. That's right.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground prior to the Gator control. By rule, it's an incomplete pass.
So Mike Carey is 1-0 so far.
Well, I think Cleat was under the hood, maybe listening to Mike's analysis on that. I think that was pretty clear. The key,
I think even you would have got this.
the key is they got it right.
All right, Mike, thank you. 4th and 5.
Go!
And Shane Leckler, 16th year in the league. 6'2", 237 at Texas A&M, and he has been one of the great punters for a long time. Look at this one, all the way back to the 14-yard line. Ted Ginn Jr. back out across the 25 to the 26. Only one more day until the biggest premiere in the universe. You won't want to miss the first new episode of the season, The Big Bang Theory, on its new night tomorrow at 8, 7 Central here on CBS. Down to Jamie Erdahl.
Greg, we saw Jericho Cotchery, the wide receiver, leave the game earlier with a right ankle injury. He was evaluated. He just came out, ran a couple 15 yards up and down the sideline, said he was okay, and now he's back on the field for the Panthers offense.
Thank you, Jamie. He's not only been evaluated, he's been rejuvenated.
That's a big surprise. Good to see him back out on the field.
First down, Newton and the Panthers. Newton on the move, has a first down and more, and run out of bounds across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Let's get another update from the NFL Today in New York. JB and the coach.
Hey, Greg, here's the evaluation. Big, bad, and unstoppable.
Yeah, Rob Gronkowski. Who do you cover him with? The DB can't cover him here, right there. Second touchdown pass for Tom Brady. 21-7. New England over Buffalo.
Hey, Greg, and you were right earlier. Coach hates turnovers. Back to Greg Gumbel.
Show me a coach that isn't crazy over turnovers. Newton throwing, sideline, complete, and that's the tight end, Greg Olsen. How about the sly smile on Cam Newton's face when you asked him if you think you might throw to Greg Olsen a little more today than you did last week?
Well, he gives us one of those looks like, I'm not going to tell you, but I think my look will tell you. And pretty clear that they're trying to get him the football. Been targeted several times today. And that's a better route for him to run. The other one, Dimps was sitting all over. It was more of a hitch route. That one, it's a runaway route.
The give is to Stewart. Stewart runaway up the middle, inside the 40 to about the 37.5-yard line. Good job up front.
You'll see Stewart here on the handoff, just a counter play, following his block through the middle. Created a big lane for him. Some of this could be the fact that the Texans defense has been on the field for so long.
Second and short yardage here now for Newton with Tolbert in the backfield. Tolbert with the ball, has the first down and a lot more. 30, 25. Brought down by Kareem Jackson, the cornerback.
It's about discipline within the defense, maintaining your rush lanes and keeping leverage. That time on the backside, the defense collapsed, allowing Tolbert to cut back and find an opening.
A 49-yard drive, and you see how that compares with their first 4 drives. Newton going for it all. End zone wide open. Touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr.
The Texans attempt to bring pressure. Rushing 5 this time. They don't get to Cam Newton. Allowing the one-on-one on the outside. A double move. A double move by Ted Ginn Jr. There's Ginn here. Going to go up to a hitch and a little twirl. With that type of protection in the pocket, Cam Newton's able to put it right into the corner.
He beat A.J. Boye on the play. The extra point is good. Cam Newton, his second touchdown pass of the season. And the Panthers are up 7-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com. And by Just for Men Mustache and Beard, your best beard ever.
And that's what happens on off days. The U.S. National Whitewater Center here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Cam Newton. First 4 drives, he went 4 of 11 throwing for a total of 7 yards. And on that last drive, 2 out of 2 for 37 yards, including the 25-yard touchdown pass. 7-3 Panthers. Quentin Demps deep. And an onside kick almost looked like a mistake. Jonathan Grimes covered it for Houston. Let's see. Graham Gano. Did he pull up at the last second?
I'm guessing it's a re-kick because the ball fell off the tee, and good thing the official was on top of it.
Well, what was the magnitude of that earthquake that hit?
He had a little tilt on the ball anyway, but clearly it fell off the tee.
There's no wind. And this one will go out of the end zone for the touchback. Let's Let's go back to that touchdown pass.
I want you to show you what Cam Newton is looking at. Here you have all guys up at the line of scrimmage. You have a defender rushing. Cam Newton is going to use his eyes up the field on this safety who's going to be one-on-one. But then you got Ted Ginn here who's just running it up and go. So you see all of the things that are going on with the defense. That's what Cam Newton is focused in on. He realizes when the pressure comes that he's got man-to-man on the outside. Once he realizes his guys pick up that pressure, that's when he knows he's going to be able to celebrate because he's got the one-on-one and has the time to make that throw.
Mallett back to work now, throwing, and he's got the man complete across the 35 and close to the 40-yard line. That's tight end C.J. Fedorowicz. That's good for a first down at the 39.
Well, and play-action passing allows that to happen. When you can get some run game going, get a little bit of things going on the ground, it gets those linebackers to bite up, and you can hit that tight end in that second window.
Mallett from the shotgun. Quick pass over the middle, and that is incomplete. Intended for Garrett Graham, the other tight end. A reminder for you, replay every game of the 2015 season on demand with NFL Game Pass. Go to NFL.com/Game Pass to start your free trial.
Well, that was all the pocket being pushed back into Mallett's face. There's only 4 guys rushing. Everybody drops into coverage. He wanted to anchor down in there, and that's what happened. Somebody got in his face. He wasn't able to make an accurate throw.
Mallett throwing sideline, almost intercepted. Josh Norman going up high, looking for his second of the season.
Well, that's a little cat and mouse by defensive coordinator Sean McDermott, showing 5 guys at the line of scrimmage like they're going to throw, or they're going to blitz. So Mallett thinks he has man-to-man coverage on the outside, but in reality, you see by the way Norman is playing the ball, looking back at the quarterback, he knows he has help over the top. That allows him to cheat on that route and almost get the interception.
3rd and 10.
Look for the Panthers to drop in coverage with a shell here.
Mallett on the move again. Shakes one tackler and is run out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Charles Johnson and Dewan Edwards giving chase.
Once again, we go back. We've been talking about it with the Texans. We can also talk about it with Carolina's defense. When you can rush 4, drop 7 into coverage, and still apply the pressure, that's where you're giving yourself a huge advantage.
Ted Ginn Jr., he of the touchdown reception, back inside his own 15-yard line for the kick. And he grabs it at the 22. Across the 35. Out to about the 40-yard line. .05 to play in the first half. Ryan Mallett down by the ankle, 7-3 Panthers.
And Charles Johnson is going to come off the edge here, and he's just going to come right up the middle as they do this TE stunt. You'll see he comes clean. As a quarterback, you're fine with pressure off the edges because you can step up in the pocket. But when pressure comes up the middle and you're forced to flush, it takes away all your reads and all your progressions, and that doesn't fit well with what Mallett likes to do.
On first down, this is Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart for about 2 across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Jadeveon Clowney all excited about playing in front of the home folks. He's from Rock Hill, South Carolina, just 27 miles away, and South Point High School. He played offense, defense, special teams, the #1 consensus player in the nation coming out of high school. He ran the ball 32 times for 277 yards and 9 touchdowns. Meanwhile, this is Jericho Cotchery. And Cotchery is marked down across midfield.
This was the read option, but with the option part of it. So here he's able to fake out Clowney. Then he's able to get up to that next level, just back to the old college option play. Against Justin Tuggle in the backfield, and Cotchery is able to pick up the first down.
So now the Panthers in Houston territory again. Newton, this side of the field. And a bullet complete to Ted Ginn Jr.
That was a bullet, Greg. And the thing to point out there with Ted Ginn, what he did that time is he caught the ball with his hands instead of jumping and trying to catch it with his chest, which is where the ball bounced off before. That time he just reached up, trusted his hands, and was able to bring it in.
Kind of feels like someone has alerted the offense that the game has begun. And throws this side again, and again it's Ginn. Out of bounds, just shy of the 35-yard line, but enough for another first down.
Well, and if Jonathan Joseph continues to play off coverage, they'll just take those little 5- and 7-yarders all the way up and down the field.
Newton has completed 6 in a row now. Looking for 7 in a row. He's got it. Far side of the field, complete to Philly Brown. Down to the 21-yard line and a first down.
Give credit to this offensive line. Watch the protection. You're going to see Philly Brown out here. He's just going to go and hang out in this area out here. He just floats to the outside, but it's the protection that gives Cam Newton the time and gives Brown the time to get open on that far sideline.
From the 21, Newton with a quick snap. And a penalty marker flies.
Well, yeah, they're going to call Cam for moving forward.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 1. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
He looked like he was coming to the line to make an adjustment and got the snap.
It's very rarely called. Will you see that called on a quarterback? Here you're going to see Cam, and he'll start working towards the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's going to change the play or attempt to change the player protection. A lot of times when the ball is snapped quickly, there won't be any penalty at all because you're just catching everybody else off guard. But the fact because he was moving forward, that's why that penalty was called.
So it's 1st and 15. Play fake to Stewart. Newton, lots and lots of time, and now he's going to run it. And close to the original line of scrimmage, we have a penalty marker in the secondary.
Looks like they're going to call a hold. Going to get it on Kareem Jackson, I believe. Cotchery's covering Norwood.
Holding. Defense, number 25. It's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Carolina.
It is on Kareem Jackson.
Well, Kareem Jackson, you'll see right here, is on Norwood. Norwood's just going to make a double move and try and get outside, and you'll see Jackson reach his arm around. That's what's going to be called the hold right there as he wraps him up. He had help over the top, so there was no need for him to grab him.
Newton throwing. Knocked down at the 10-yard line, intended for Olsen, batted down by Raheem Moore, the safety.
Well, and this one's on Cam Newton. He stares him down. He's staring down Greg Olsen, and that's why Raheem Moore is able to read the eyes and know where he wants to go. If Cam had gotten rid of that ball a little bit quicker, that could have been a completion, but with the amount of time that Moore had, now we're getting into 2nd and 10. Look for a run play to get it set up for a better third down.
Jonathan Stewart to about the 13 as we come up on 6.5 minutes to play here in the first half of a 7-3 game.
You know, Greg, I just saw Clowney come running back on the field. It made me think of that high school highlight you just showed. How about that as a running back? If you're a high school defender and you see him as a running back coming running through,
it's just not fair.
It's not fair at all. Look for Raheem Watt to be coming off the edges here.
Let's see what Newton has in mind on 3rd and 7. Under pressure, escapes the pressure. On the move, diving forward to the 10-yard line.
How about the respect that 2 of those carry? Both Watt and Clowney were double teamed on this pass rush, and both of them were able to push the double team back into Cam Newton, ultimately force him to flush.
Brian Cushing in on the stop, and Cam looking a little disturbed. Field goal attempt upcoming by Graham Gano from 28 yards out. And it is good. 5:26 to play, first half. The Panthers stretch their lead to 10-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, solutions that matter. And by Under Armour. Rule yourself. I will.
Welcome back to Charlotte. 10-3, Carolina leading the Houston Texans. 51-yard drive in just over 4.5 minutes, resulting in the field goal. Only 83 degrees. Players are reacting as if it's a lot hotter. And this is Chandler Worthy's going to run it out. Worthy, as penalty markers fly, he comes up short of the 20-yard line. David Mayo with the tackle.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Defense, number 35. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. First down, Houston.
That penalty on Eddie Pleasant. It'll back the Texans up. Give us a chance to tell you Saturday. The SEC on CBS brings on the best game from the best conference. The Tennessee Volunteers tangle with the Florida Gators, and it all begins with college football today, right here on CBS Sports. Mallett on first down. Oh! Batted down as soon as it left his hand by Coney Ely, the defensive end.
Getting quick pressure up the field, trying to hit the swing route. Right here, he's just going to try hitting the swing route, but Ely gets upfield. Almost close to a backward pass, which would have been a quick touchdown for the Panthers, but that ball was moving forward.
Carolina dominating control of the football here in the second quarter. On 2nd and 10, the give is to Polk, Chris Polk. Just across the 10-yard line. We were talking about it during the break, Trent, that Ryan Mallett needs to complete some passes, get some first downs, and give that Houston defense a chance to rest.
Well, Greg, you just showed the time of possession for this quarter, and even though you showed the temperature at 83 degrees, it's much hotter down on the field with the humidity. And
that's tight end C.J. Fedorowicz having trouble staying on his feet. He is a second-year tight end out of Iowa.
Almost looks like he's
cramping.
Well, they're messing with his knee there. Initially, I thought maybe he was cramping. But we talked about time of possession, Greg, and just in the second quarter, the amount of time that the Texans defense has been on the field. You can see that last series, it seemed like they were getting pushed around a little bit, which they hadn't been doing prior in this game.
Yeah, no one usually pushes the Houston defense around.
Well, there was a couple times where they had cutback runs where, you know, either the linebackers overflowed or the gap responsibility had broken down. And that's what allowed them to get that.
Let's take a look and see what happened to C.J. Fedorowicz, number 87, right in the middle of your screen.
Let's see. Oh, here he is, right here. And see what happens here as they look like it already happened, as Norman maybe was pressing up against him. Oh, there he gets bent back over the pile as it leaves the screen there.
So Fedorowicz limps off the field. That leaves tight end duties to Garrett Graham, and on occasion, as we have seen, T.J. Watt. Meanwhile, Mallett faced with a 3rd and 9 and trying to keep a drive alive. Steps up, throws, incomplete. Off the hands of Nate Washington, defended by Charles Tillman, and another flag is down.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense, number 70. That penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
That penalty is on Jeff Adams.
Tillman does a nice job of knocking that ball out. Here we're going to get the hands of the face. coming off that edge. See Charles Johnson's head was tilting back on that.
Here's Ted Ginn Jr. Breaks it to the near side and out of bounds at midfield. 4:33 to play in the first half. Carolina with the lead in the football again. A reminder, coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB and the guys for all the latest scores and highlights back in the studio in New York. They'll have a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. So yeah, we touched a little bit on Deflategate, and just did it amaze you how people just lost their minds all summer long?
Yes, it was a topic of discussion for a long time. Obviously, going back and forth with the league and the Players Association and Tom Brady and what was going on with obviously the court system now is what it ultimately came down to. But glad we're back to football now.
And Newton thrown and incomplete. J.J. Watt in on Cam Newton. What's been happening with number 99 today?
Well, they've been double teaming him quite a bit. You can see here, 2 offensive linemen occasionally here with Dixon being a tight end. They get a tight end in the mix, and every now and then they'll be crazy enough to put a running back on him, but that hasn't fared too well for him. So you see the big boys staying on him most of the time.
2nd and 10. Newton got his man inside the 40-yard line to the 35. Catch is made by Devin Funchess, the rookie out of Michigan.
This time Newton recognizes the fact that they're going to bring Demps off the edge. Demps comes down at safety. He comes off the edge. You've got Ginn one-on-one on the backside. Once again, watch Ginn catch it with his hands. The drop earlier was just, it was Funchess with the catch. Catching it with his hands, bringing it in, not allowing the defensive back to knock it out.
Newton, far side of the field, and that is complete inside the 25-yard line, out of bounds at the 23 for the first down to Greg Olsen. Olsen already seeing lots more action than he did a week ago.
Olsen one-on-one there in the slot with Jackson. Gets over to the sideline, and what I see right now is the Texans defense that is walking around. They seem very tired, very sluggish. After that completion, getting back to the line of scrimmage. See a lot of them with hands on hips, taking deep breaths.
J.J. Watt working extra hard with the double team. On first down, quick pass to the sideline. Olsen again. Cut down by Kevin Johnson, the rookie cornerback out of Wake Forest. Cam Newton distributing the ball.
Well, look at that already. Last week, Olsen only had 3 targets and 1 catch. Today, he already has 4 receptions.
Newton with time, over the middle, tip, intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Raheem Moore. Moore back to the 15, lost the football, covered by the Texans. Justin Tuggle was there to pick up the loose ball.
When that ball wasn't the tightest spiral as he was attempting to get the ball to Kevin Norwood. Oh, his arm was hit, so this ball comes out wobbly, and Norwood gets his hands on it.
And this will be an automatic review on the turnover, but it appears Raheem Moore got his hands underneath that.
Who was it that hit Cam Newton's arm? Was it J.J. Watt?
They are continuing to take a look upstairs.
Jared Crick was the one that came through, the defensive lineman that was able to come through and hit Cam Newton's arm, causing that ball to flutter out.
So the turnover is confirmed, and here is Ryan Mallett. Mallett with time over the middle, lines out of the backfield. And out to about the 31-yard line.
Real quick back to the pressure. Here's Crick. He's going to be the one that comes out. Watt on the outside. They end up just doing a push in the pocket. Crick comes off, and he's the one that hits Newton's arm, causing that ball to flutter in the air and ultimately go off the hands of Kevin Norwood.
Grimes on 2nd and 1, looking for the first down, and appears to have it as we come up on 2 minutes to play. 2 minutes to play when we come back in the first half. Carolina with the lead. Houston with the ball. Just a reminder, the guys back in New York standing by for the Verizon halftime report. They'll have scores and highlights and a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network, all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Houston with 2 first downs remaining. Carolina with all 3 of theirs. Mallett, Grimes knocked out of bounds at about the 38-yard line by Roman Harper. I said first downs, I meant 2 timeouts remaining.
That time there, Grimes being able to get out of bounds, being hit by Roman Harper on the sidelines. Good decision by Mallett, not forcing the ball up the field. He knows he has a minute 54. He does have the 2 timeouts, as you said, Greg. Plenty of time to keep and continue to hit the underneath routes, not having to force it up the field at this time.
And now Carolina takes a timeout. So they used their first timeout, and they also now have 2 timeouts remaining. And let's talk Super Bowl. The Carolina Panthers played in Super Bowl 38 down in Houston, and they took on the New England Patriots. Back and forth game. Tom Brady and Jake Delhomme both throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. At the end, came down to Adam Vinatieri, 41 yards out with 4 seconds to play. Gave New England the 32-29 win. That was Carolina's only Super Bowl appearance in its 21st year of the franchise now. Cam Newton wants to get him there. 2nd and 6. Mallett. High pass. On his receiver, Jonathan Grimes out to dry. Incomplete.
Well, and Grimes not only took a big hit, but he also saved an interception. This ball coming out too high. You can see the defender that Davis ultimately puts the hit on Grimes. He's the one that would have had the interception had Grimes not been able to put a hand on that.
3rd and 6. And Carolina looks like calling another timeout. They do. They use their 2nd. This is what happened with Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker for Carolina last week, suffering the concussion after the hit on Jaguars running back T.J. Yeldon late in the first half. And they were hopeful right up until Friday that he might be able to get back. He was not. Those are the rest of the inactives today. And you can tell this Houston offense really misses Arian Foster tonight.
Well, they've tried to do a combination of backs, and it just hasn't worked out up until this point.
3rd and 6 for Mallett. Under the gun, throwing over the middle. And it bounced short of the intended receiver, Nate Washington.
Well, Mario Addison was putting the pressure coming off the edge for the Carolina Panthers, hitting Mallett as he was throwing. You'll see Addison coming off the top up here. He's the one that just beats Chris Clark off the snap, and Mallett has to throw that ball sooner than he wants to and really can't get anything into it.
Ted Ginn Jr. calling for the fair catch, and he makes that catch at about the 14-yard line. 1:38 to play here in the first half. And Carolina with 1 timeout remaining, and offense, there hasn't been much to talk about on either side of the ball. Carolina's looked a little better as the game has progressed.
Carolina got into some rhythm there here in the second quarter, and that's really, when you look at those yards and those numbers, a lot of it is reflective of what has gone on here in the second quarter. That first quarter, what they have, about 7 yards, 10 yards. I mean, it was a 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 4-and-out, so it wasn't very productive. But they figured things out, whereas Houston is still trying to come up with something to get the ball moving, get some points on the board.
Ozzie Whitaker in the background, but that pass is knocked down by 99. J.J. Watt.
I would think they'd have watched enough film by now to know that Watt's going to jump up, and you know he's been known. He's all the way up here at the top, coming off the edge, and he's been known to jump up and snag these out of the air too, not just bat them down, but catch them and go that 8 yards or whatever it was into the end zone that he needed to just trot in. So be careful when throwing that play that way.
On 2nd and 10, this is Whitaker. Remember when we were talking with Cam Newton yesterday, I said, would you prefer to run at J.J. Watt or away from him? And he said, neither one, to tell you the truth.
Neither way. He said either he's going to hit you at the point of attack or he's going to catch you from behind. You can see last season among all defensive linemen how many categories he was first in. Picking up right where he left off. Last week having 6 tackles for loss.
And that was just defensively. Add 5 touchdowns that he scored last year, 3 of them on offense, and a safety, and 5 fumble recoveries.
Oh, and by the way, he's 290, and he does all that. So pretty impressive for J.J. Watt.
Third and 7 now. Each team down to 1 timeout remaining. Newton deep down this side, way overthrown. Ted Ginn Jr., the intended receiver.
Well, and that was the pressure that was applied from the Texans that time, forcing Cam to throw that ball earlier than he wanted. Not allowing Ginn to get the separation. The timing just wasn't right, so Cam had to flick it down the sideline. It's amazing when you say you flicked it down the sideline about 60, 65 yards.
Nice flick.
Yeah.
Keith Mumphrey with a chance to return this one. Drifts back to his own 17-yard line. Near side of the field and out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. That'll bring the Carolina defense onto the field, and that includes Thomas Davis. Back in January, Davis was named the 2014 NFL Man of the Year for his work in the community and for playing excellence.
To the guys in this league, I just want to say to you, let's change this world. We're well compensated for what we do. Let's show these kids how much we care about them. Let's give the media something positive to talk about instead of always bashing our league.
Thomas Davis, good man.
It was a pleasure getting to talk to him yesterday in our production meeting.
First down for Mallett.
Not only as a player, but as a person, as you said, Greg.
Over the middle and complete. And that is Fozzie Whitaker walking off to the locker room early.
Well, and there's someone down for the Texans, and they're all waving to the sideline.
That is number 70, Jeff Adams, the second-year offensive lineman from Columbia. And he looks to be in agony.
Yeah, it's his right knee is what he's grabbing as he's going to the ground. You don't want to speculate too much, but he obviously is in a lot of pain as you see him. So he's lined up right here. Ely's going to be coming off the edge. You can see during the pass rush, he just goes down and grabs that right leg.
Just kind of looked like it buckled on him.
Yeah, he planted as he was backpedaling, trying to plant that leg. You could see him plant that right foot to try and anchor in, and immediately hopped up on the one foot and grabbed that right leg. So unfortunately, they're bringing the cart out on the field.
And as if this Houston offensive line wasn't in enough disarray, they had some major shuffling up front with Dwayne Brown, the regular left tackle, being deactivated. Now Jeff Adams about to be carted off.
Chris Clark, who they just traded for with Denver a few weeks ago, was filling in for Brown at the left tackle spot. Adams, as we saw in that last replay, was playing right tackle because they moved Derek Newton, the normal right tackle, over to left guard.
It's like such a game of chance up front there, Trent, because last week we got a look at Joe Thomas, the fine left tackle for the Cleveland Browns, and this is his 9th year in the NFL, and he's never missed an offensive snap, not one.
Well, I have so much respect for those guys up front and the job that they do and the wear and tear that their body goes through. And when you see a guy like Joe Thomas, a guy that I played with for many years in Kansas City, just went in the Hall of Fame, Will Shields, he was another player that had 234 consecutive starts. You see those guys and you see the way that they're able to, what they put their bodies through. And you obviously feel for Jeff Adams as he's getting put on the cart and his teammates are all rallying around him and showing their support.
Teammates paying tribute to Jeff Adams and the opposition keeping their distance, but still you can tell it affects them too.
Well, it is. They all know the amount of work that's put into this. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. They all spend an entire offseason getting their bodies ready, and see a serious injury like that, it affects everybody.
Meanwhile, Kendall Lamb, a rookie free agent offensive lineman out of Appalachian State, has come onto the field. 2nd and 10, 67 seconds left here in the first half.
58 to Mike, 58. I'm not here, coach.
Now throwing, almost intercepted at the 45-yard line. Number 25, Benabin Wickery, drew a bead on it and couldn't hold on.
Mallett once again was under pressure, not able to step into this throw as the pocket collapses around him. Then Wickery is just kicking himself. You see him put his hands on his head, knowing he had a perfect chance for an interception. Mario Addison was the one pushing Chris Clark back into Mallett's face.
3rd and 10. Gotta hurry. Didn't get off in a hurry.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So Bill O'Brien is going to have to address the offensive struggles at halftime.
Well, and I don't know how you fix it. You only have so many offensive linemen that are healthy, so you've got bodies in there, but it's a matter of having the time to do something with it.
This is Polk, and Polk just across the 25-yard line.
Well, Carolina's going to use that last time out to try and preserve as much time as they can. Again, being one of the better punt returners in the National Football League.
Ron Rivera said one of the problems, even in the opening game win at Jacksonville, was that his team didn't start quickly, and he would like to see that. They didn't start very quickly today either.
They didn't start quickly today, but for them, Houston didn't start quickly either. So we kind of worked our way through that first quarter, be a nice way to put it. Now in the second quarter, Carolina's been able to get some things going, but there's still some area of concern there for the Texans.
Leckler booms one out of there. This is Ginn. We have a penalty marker. Again, cut down as he crosses the 25-yard line. Penalty marker thrown on the near side of the field. Think the officials are going to ice their arms at halftime?
They may need to. They don't just call the flag, they get together and discuss it, which is, they want to get it right, but it's definitely made for a longer first half.
the kick, holding, return team number 25. Penalty's half the distance to the goal line from the end of the kick. First down, Carolina.
So that penalty is on Ben Wickery. 46 seconds on the clock. Carolina by a touchdown. Do they look for more here, or do they go to the locker room with a 1 touchdown lead?
Well, I think based on the penalty and the fact now they're down inside their 10-yard line, I think it's more of a traditional hand the ball off, kind of run the clock out. Don't take any chances down this close to your own end zone.
And they will give it to Tolbert. And Tolbert out to the 20-yard line, and that's a first down.
And you can see Carolina's not necessarily hurrying up to the ball. They just want to get some separation from the end zone. They don't have to run another snap if they don't want to.
Let's see if Cam Newton takes a knee here. He's going to hand it off to Tolbert. And that will do it for the first half. So the offensive guns not out in force in the first half as the final seconds tick off the clock. The Houston Texans managed a field goal. Carolina, a field goal and a touchdown. And at the break, the Carolina Panthers with the lead by a score of 10-3. And let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Coach, in his third career NFL start, how do you feel like Ryan Mallett fared?
The whole team, we just got to play better. You know, it's a 10-3 game, you know, another half of football, so we just got to go in there, make some adjustments, and come out ready to go.
Cam Newton is certainly a challenging quarterback, but have you contained him the way you want to?
Yeah, you know, he's going to make his plays. He's a great player, and like I said, we're going to go in there and make some adjustments, come out and play a good second half.
Coach, thanks.
Yep.
Jamie, thank you. And we have come to the end of the first half here at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. That is the end of the first half. 10-3 in favor of Carolina. We're back with the Verizon halftime report after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 50. Welcome back to Charlotte as we await the start of the second half. Carolina with a 10-3 lead on the Houston Texans. Let's take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. The lone touchdown of the day came from the arm of Cam Newton. He finds Ted Ginn Jr. in the back of the end zone. That's the only touchdown we've seen so far this afternoon. 10-3 Panthers. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. We heard Bill O'Brien, the Houston head coach, tell Jamie Erdahl that they have to go in and make some adjustments. What kind of adjustments do you make for Ryan Mallett, who's only making a 2.3 yard per completion?
Well, they have problems with protection on the offensive line, so there's two directions of thought here. You can either add more guys to protection and only put a couple receivers out, or you're going to get more guys in to protect and only have a couple receivers out. But let's look at the second half here. For Houston, you have to find a way to protect Mallett. You have to find a way to keep him upright and be able to step into his throws. That's when he's a more effective quarterback. And then for the Panthers, it's Cam, and more Cam. He's the leading rusher for the Carolina Panthers, and right now, in the second quarter especially, he's gotten going in the passing game.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to get a little bit more pressure because J.J. Watt has not been able to show that pressure consistently on Cam Newton, nor has Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, and that has to do with how much they've been on the field here in the second half, or at least in the second quarter. They haven't been well rested, and you look at the amount of snaps and the amount of reps that they had. That's why they were sluggish there towards the end of this half, or the end of the first half.
Houston gets the ball first in the second half. Quentin Demps is deep. And this one will sail through the end zone. It will come to the 20-yard line, and we go down to Jamie.
Well, Greg, you guys just said it. We think Ryan Mallett had a tough first half. I certainly wouldn't want to be him in the second half. Ron Rivera just told me they didn't get after the Texans quarterback as much as they would have wanted to in this game. As far as the Panthers offense, tempo and pacing is going to be key. Rivera agreed. That was a really brutal start to the game just for Cam Newton to get going, so it will be key for them. Speed, and Cam Newton's going to lead them to this win.
Thanks, Jamie. And, you know, we had the question all set for Bill O'Brien before he even settled into his seat when he met with us. If Ryan Mallett is not the answer, do you go back to Brian Hoyer? Meanwhile, the running play start things off with Chris Polk. And Polk out across the 30 to about the 33.
And to follow up on that, Greg, Coach O'Brien said, listen, this is Ryan Mallett's team at this point in time. Now, he can't say how long it's going to be, but he knew he wasn't going to give him a short leash for this game. He wants to see him for an extended period of time, and so look for Ryan Mallett to be in here the rest of the way.
This is Polk again, and there's nothing there for Polk. He's racked up by the rookie linebacker Shaq Thompson. First half numbers favoring the Panthers, as you would expect, with the struggles offensively for the Houston Texans.
Well, and highlighted there is the number of penalties. That's why it's hard to get in any kind of rhythm for either of these offenses. The number of penalties, and then there have been injuries on both sides as well.
That's why the sun's going down. 2nd and 10, Mallett throwing, and he's got a man across the 40 and close to a first down. That's DeAndre Hopkins. And that is a first down.
Well, and you can see the tempo that the Texans are attempting to get into with that first completion of this drive. They got up to the ball, they snapped the ball quickly, and now they're continuing to go in this no huddle. Not necessarily a 2-minute type of tempo, but they're going with the no huddle just to increase the tempo and get into some kind of rhythm.
Mallett throwing, and that's complete, and hit immediately after making the catch is Alfred Blue. Thomas Davis with the hit. Word from the Houston Texans, by the way, is that the injured offensive lineman Jeff Adams will not return. Second and 7. And they give us to Blue. Blue across midfield into Carolina territory to the 48, and it'll be 3rd and 2. Charles Johnson with the stop as you look at the Texans' first half possessions, and just not a whole lot to show on offense today.
Well, we just saw Alfred Blue carried on that last play, and that's the biggest game he's had all day, 5 yards. He's only got 4 carries for 6 yards, so they need to get the run game going to take some of this pressure off of Ryan Mallett.
3rd and 2. 2 yards to keep the drive alive for Mallett and the Houston Texans. Mallett throwing, and out of the backfield, one-handed grab by Chris Polk, and he got the first down. Fine job by Polk. Tillman and Harper hitting him not long after he pulled it in.
Well, Polk does a tremendous job of this one-handed catch, securing the football. The spot that they've been giving him is enough for a first down.
That's a catch under pressure. New set of downs for Mallett at the Carolina 45. This is Polk. Polk is a 4th-year running back out of the University of Washington. And it's been running back by committee since the loss of Arian Foster.
Well, it has been, and really, Blue is your main running back that you like to use in first downs. But now that they've gone to this no-huddle spread look, this is something that fits better for what Polk's game is.
63, 58 to Mike. Hold on, what's the protection? 63. 63.
Mallett looking at a 2nd and 7. Mallett. And that is complete to the 26-yard line to Cecil Shorts III. And for all of his troubles today, Ryan Mallett stuck that one in there.
Well, in this entire drive, it's about getting your quarterback in rhythm and firing in there, and he just seems much more confident right now as he's stepping into his throws. The first half, there was a lot of throwing off his back foot, throwing with pressure in his face, but so far in this drive, he's been very consistent.
On first down, this is Polk again, and Polk inside the 25 to about the 24.5, maybe the 23-yard line.
And by getting this running game going, you also take some of the pressure off of the offensive line. It's a matter of the guys up front for Carolina were really getting after the quarterback, getting after Ryan Mallett in the first half. You can find some balance. That takes that away from the defensive line.
4 first downs on this drive already. This is DeAndre Hopkins. And Hopkins at the 15.
And you see what they've done different this drive, Greg. You see how they're getting the ball out of his hands quickly. All the throws have been underneath. There hasn't been very many throws. There was the one throw earlier that was up the field, but most of these throws have been under that 7-8 yard range. Get the ball out of your hands quickly, get the ball on target, this has been a nice drive for the Texans to open up this second half.
First time into the red zone today. Mallett on the quick slant. DeAndre Hopkins inside the 10 to the 7. All these quick pops doing a quarterback's percentage good.
It is, and it's, you know, it's getting into that tempo. I keep saying tempo and rhythm, and that's something that Mallett was never able to get into in the first half.
On 2nd and 2, this is Polk, and he may lose a yard on the play, courtesy of Thomas Davis. So Mallett and the Texans now looking at a 3rd and 2. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Alfred Blue is in the backfield with Mallett.
Well, and if Blue in the backfield, as they call a quick timeout here.
You started to say?
I was going to say with Blue in the backfield, I would think more of a play-action pass because the Carolina's going to think with Blue in there that it's going to be a run inside the tackle. So give that play-action pass, bring those guys in there, and then you had the 4 guys out wide to where you could get a rub route in.
See Bill O'Brien, the head coach there, off to the right. I thought he was an absolute delight to talk to during our meeting.
He was great. You know, you never really know. For us, that's the first time getting to talk to Coach O'Brien, and you didn't really, you know, as you go into those production meetings, you know, how forthcoming are they going to be? And, you know, he was very open with us, very honest, especially about the quarterback situation and what the thought process was going into making that change this week, and some of his thoughts, of course, about the defense and his thoughts about hard knocks. He was very open about that, and it was a nice talk with him. It definitely was.
Houston had 93 total yards in the first half, 73 on this drive. 3rd and 2.
I still look for a play action here. I look for Alfred Blue to get a play action here, and then you have some one-on-ones on the outside.
Mallett, end zone. Pulled in. Did he come down? It is ruled a touchdown to Garrett Graham. We'll see if that holds up, but what a catch by Graham at the back of the end zone.
Well, and from here, it certainly does look like a catch. Graham putting the one hand up and being able to bring it in, and look from up here to get both feet in. You have to finish the catch. There's 1 foot down, 2 foot down, 2 feet down, inbounds. It depends on when he secures the ball. So he secures it right there. The 1 foot is on the ground, the 2nd foot's on the ground, and see if he finishes the catch.
Yeah, he did.
The ball stays secure. There's no movement of the ball as he hits the upright, or not the upright, but the goalpost.
Mallett with the touchdown pass. Graham with his first touchdown catch, and the extra point is good. 8:29 to play. An impressive drive by Mallett and the Texans. And we have a 10-10 tie here in Carolina. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Garrett Graham's first catch of the season is a 7-yard touchdown reception, one badly needed by the Houston Texans. Ryan Mallett, 7 out of 7 on that drive as Houston pulls even at 10 apiece. 8:29 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And this will not be returned. It'll sail through the end zone for the touchback, and Cam Newton and the offense will begin at the 20-yard line. It was Ryan Mallett to Garrett Graham. Dandy catch at the back of the end zone. We're back to Charlotte after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Honda, the power of dreams.
That Charlotte, North Carolina skyline is easy on the eyes, isn't it?
And great weather go with it.
Cam Newton to give to Jonathan Stewart. And we'll see that Houston defense can stand tall now as they pull even at 10. Take a look at the first half possessions for the Carolina Panthers. There wasn't a whole lot there offensively to shout about either.
No, they were slow coming out of the gate, that's for sure. And Coach Rivera had told us that he was looking for a faster start. That didn't happen, but they did get things going in the second quarter a little bit, and were able to make some scoring drives.
On 2nd and 8, deep drop for Newton. Newton on the run, sliding across the 30 for a first down. we had to compliment him on that sliding because the coaches have been after him to do a little more of that.
Well, and that's not something he really likes to do. He will fork with the pressure coming off the edge. Watt losing contain on the outside, and you can see Cam Newton taking the slide there and giving us a little first down signal.
6 carries for 47 yards rushing. Newton over the middle, incomplete. Fans want a call against Quentin Demps covering Greg Olsen. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, I think, Greg, it's time to reveal to the world that Cam Newton is a pescatarian going on 4 years. He doesn't eat meat. He only eats fish. He told us yesterday that the thing he misses most is fried chicken, but he doesn't really do it for dietary reasons. It's more of a mind over matter challenge. So pretty interesting. His mercury levels, he admittedly said, are very high.
I had no idea what he said. I'm a pescatarian. I wanted to say I'm so sorry.
Yes, we had no idea. That's right.
Thanks, Jamie. 2nd and 10. Newton throwing. Overshooting. Devin Funchess, the man coming across. And 3rd and 10. We've since found out that means that they need anything except fish, and a lot of it.
Yeah, he, it was pretty amazing. He said he still has a sweet tooth. He'll eat some of the not necessarily good things for you, but he stays away from meat and chicken, and it's all about discipline. Jamie touched on it perfectly. It's more of a discipline thing, not necessarily because he wants to have a certain type of diet. It's just to prove to himself he has that discipline.
Newton with time, throwing this side of the field, incomplete, but here's the penalty marker. And this looks like it's going to go against Jonathan Joseph.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Ted Ginn is going to come up, and he's just running an out route, but I want you to watch right here. Joseph, he's going to reach that right arm out. Right when Ginn tries to make the cut, he reaches that right arm out and wraps it around his waist, and that's what the official sees and why the flag was thrown.
So a new set of downs for Cam Newton. And Newton going to keep it around the right side. Breaking tackles, midfield, and out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
Cam Newton just with the read option. He's going to be reading it right off of outside linebacker John Simon. We talked to the Texans. How do you tackle Cam Newton? Is there a certain way? Do you go for his legs? Do you stay up high? Do you tackle his arms? What is it you want to try and do? And they said, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to try and wrap his arms, because you don't want him to continue to play and throw the ball upfield if you're able to hang around his arms. That time Simon just too high, not able to bring him down, and Cam just shakes him off. When you're 6'5", 245, you got to bring him down more than that.
19-yard run is the longest for anyone today. Newton throwing over the middle, tipped. Intercepted as a penalty marker flies in the secondary. Raheem Moore has the ball, but let's check the flag.
They're going to get Demps against Olsen, but because that ball was tipped, it won't be a pass interference. Now, if they call it holding, then the play could stand.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense, number 27. The 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Watch Demps. He's going to be man-to-man on Olsen. Here they are right here on your side screen. Watch him and follow him across the field. You'll see him grab him. You see the jersey extend. That official that's in the back, he's a good 30 yards, 25 yards away from it. As soon as he sees the jersey extend, the flag's coming out every time.
So the turnover goes up in smoke for the Texans. From the 40, they give this to Stewart. Stewart trying to bounce it outside and dives for a couple of yards. You know, we even in pregame warmups, you look at the sheer size of Cam Newton. You know, Ron Rivera was a pretty good linebacker in his day for the Chicago Bears, and I asked him if he's ever imagined a quarterback that big running at him, and he just kind of rolled his eyes.
Well, the funny story he told is how many people come up to him and say, I didn't realize you were this big. He said, because you're standing next to Cam all the time. And he goes, well, Cam is such a large man. He said, it's, you know, it makes him look small. So, and Ron shared the fact that a guy Cam's size would have played a different position when he was playing.
Over the middle. Great grab at the 30-yard line by Greg Olsen.
Watch Cam Newton as he stands in the pocket. It takes guts to play quarterback in the National Football League, and he stands in here and makes this throw right as he's getting hit and taken to the ground. Puts an accurate throw. It was Akeem Dent that was putting the pressure on Cam Newton, but with that arm strength and obviously Olsen with his hand strength bringing the catch in.
5 catches, 43 yards for Olsen today. Newton hit hard that time as he thought about running it up the middle by J.J. Watt. And J.J. doing the Cam Newton bit.
Nice little pop, and then J.J. with the pose, first down the other way. He's always creative with it.
He's got the numbers to do that. Play clock down to 5. Stewart inside the 25, twisting his way to the 21-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 3.
And he just freezes Kevin Johnson, who comes up for the tackle. You'll see him as he approaches the screen. Stewart here getting to the second level. Watch 30 just get frozen there.
So Newton under center, 3rd and 3.
Florida!
10th play of this drive. Newton throwing complete inside the 20, and that looks to be enough for a first down. Ted Ginn Jr. coming across the middle. Cam Newton showing a lot of patience on a lot of these completions.
And you got to give credit to the offensive line. I know he took a shot a little bit earlier, but that time Texans were bringing heat to try and keep the first down from happening. They picked up the pressure and allowed Cam Newton to step in, and Ted Ginn with the hit or with the catch as the hit was taking place, securing that catch for the first down.
Under 3 minutes to play here in the 3rd. This is Mike Tolbert. Tolbert shakes the tackle inside the 15 to the 14. This Carolina team won its 2nd straight NFC South championship last year with a 7-8-1 record and had to come on with a rush at the end of the season to do it.
Well, and the amazing thing about it is they had to go on the road for the playoffs and win a playoff game after having that losing record. But this is exactly what Carolina needed. They needed to answer the Texans' scoring drive to open up this half with a long drive of their own.
Newton got rid of it. Incomplete.
And Newton was lucky that Jonathan Joseph was dialed in on Mike Tolbert and was coming up to try and secure the tackle and not paying attention to the ball, because this could have been a pick going the other way. Ball comes out a little bit high towards Tolbert. You'll see Tolbert coming out into the flat here.
As a quarterback, does your life pass in front of you when that happens?
It's one of those ones you release the ball and you wish you had a string on it. There's some of those you just wish you had a string to pull it back real quick.
3rd and 6. Panthers need the 8-yard line for a first down. And they'll take a timeout. 2:09 to play in the 3rd. 10-10, but Carolina knocking on the door. The view from on high with 2:09 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 6 for Cam Newton and the Carolina offense. Newton to throw for it. Complete. Inside the 10. First down and goal at the 6-yard line to Tolbert.
Tolbert's going to do a fake cross. He's going to come out here and then reverse back out that way, and that's really what freezes the linebacker in terms of coverage, creating that separation on Justin Tuggle.
Tolbert is a fire plug at 5'9" and 250. Everybody pointing fingers on the offensive line. Clete Blakeman will get the last point.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 90. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
That's Jadeveon Clowney. Half the distance will put the ball just inside the 3.
Clowney lined up right here.
First and goal. Stewart in the backfield. Newton on the quarterback draw, diving into the end zone for the touchdown.
Greg, he really was Superman on that play. This is a called quarterback draw. See, he plants his foot, he goes airborne.
And Raheem Moore, not a prayer to stop him. Gano with the extra point. It is good. 1:04 to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Panthers answer right back with a touchdown to grab a 17-10 lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Carolina comes right back to grab a 17-10 lead on Houston, led by Cam Newton. We have 64 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. Quentin Demps deep for the kick. And will not get a chance to run this one back. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Cam Newton, prior to the game, out on the field in his Superman shoes, his Superman t-shirt. Come game time, he gets airborne over Raheem Moore, and only Superman would come up smiling. How's that for an accomplishment? Who knew the great Otto Graham ran the football that much? Most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the first 63 games of a career.
And still going. With the way they made that last drive. And
yeah, the rest
answering the Texans
the rest of those guys are pretty much done. Chandler, Worthy, 25, 30, and out across the 30 to about the 33. A reminder, tomorrow here on CBS, the geniuses from last season's hit drama are back. Don't miss the season premiere of Scorpion tomorrow at 9/8 Central, only CBS. Last 40 seconds of the third quarter. This is Alfred Blue, and Blue with nowhere to go. After that last drive and touchdown, Trent, lots and lots of congratulations for the Carolina offensive line coming off the field.
Well, and rightfully so. They had to come back and answer the Texans' drive after they opened up the third quarter with a long 80-yard drive, and Carolina going back out and doing the same thing. So it was a good answer, good test for the offensive linemen of Carolina, as you mentioned, and now it's up to the Texans. After not having much offense the first half, we've seen quite a bit here in the third quarter.
Pass to the outside. That is complete to Cecil Shorts III, and he is out of bounds about a yard short of a first down as time expires here in the third quarter. We've played 3 in Charlotte. 17-10 Panthers. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS with our producer Bob Monsbach, our director Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl, and the rest of our crew here in Charlotte on a day that began with NBA MVP Steph Curry pounding the drum, getting the honorary honors. I guess honors are honorary. Carolina with a 17-10 lead as we start the fourth. See, now I'm going to think about honorary honors all the way home.
That's going to bug you.
Ryan Mallett has completed 8 straight passes. Work to do as we begin the fourth. Break that string. 2nd and 10. Polk out of the backfield.
Well, and under pressure, Mallett didn't have time to hang on to that ball and see how the play developed. He had to get rid of the ball quickly. He was trying to anticipate. Had to release it early and really didn't have much chance from that point.
So Ted Yin Jr. is deep. And he will fair catch this one at the 17-yard line. So that's where Carolina will start, and going back to Steph Curry, reigning NBA MVP, grew up playing high school ball, nearby Charlotte Christian, won 3 conference titles, earned all-state honors, and returned to the area with his NBA championship trophy this week, stopping by Davidson College on Thursday and Charlotte Christian on Friday. I bet you that trophy gets you a lot of access.
He's a heck of a player, heck of a person too. He tremendous for the community, and really happy for him, the success that he's had.
He's kind of good.
Without a doubt, that's for sure. I just can't get over how quick his release is.
It may interest you to know I have an equally quick release, but the ball is nowhere near as accurate. There's Del Curry, his dad, who was a really good shooter in his day.
That's perfect timing, catching him flossing as he's watching the game, but good hygiene is never out of style, I guess.
Welcome to television. 2nd and 8. Defense leader.
That's right.
Newton over the middle. Olsen, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 8.
When that ball was tipped, that was something we saw a lot of in the first quarter when there was plenty of pressure applied to Cam Newton, and his arm was either being hit or balls were being tipped at the line of scrimmage. That time, having Olsen down the middle of the field, but because of that tip, not allowed to get to him.
From the start of this game to now, Trent, it feels like the running game has just been an afterthought.
Yeah, Cam's had some effective runs, but it's been in big chunks and just not a real consistent, steady running game from either team.
Speaking of, Newton up the middle, diving for the first down, and got it. Out to the 27-yard line.
When you have to remember, when a quarterback is running, if he goes head first, he's just like a regular runner, that it's where he's touched is where the ball is down. If you go feet first and you slide, then it's where the ball is when your feet begin the slide. So by going head first, he's able to pick up the first down.
Cam Newton with 77 rushing yards compared to 61 for the entire Texans team. And Newton to throw on first down, had it batted at the line. And Jadeveon Clowney getting credit for that one.
Well, Jadeveon playing once again, only 27 miles from his hometown, coming off the edge. He's able to get a hand on this ball. He talked about the number of family and friends that were going to be in attendance, and he always plays inspired football, but he had a little something extra today, being in front of the hometown people.
Jonathan Stewart to the outside. That was the 30th snap played today by Jadeveon Clowney. He played 30 last week. Bill O'Brien indicated that he would get more this week.
Well, and he was very clear when we had a chance to talk to him. He wants to play as many snaps as they'll give him. It's the Texans that are monitoring things. As you see his family here, there's his mom.
Yeah. Guys from the South Carolina area, they groups of 25 and 30 and 35 people visiting today. Newton under pressure, trying to spin away, escapes once, a helmet goes rolling out, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. Eddie Pleasant, Quentin Demps.
See, they bring 7 men in 7 men with the rush. Can't block everybody, and Pleasant's the first one to get after him. Helmet comes flying off before Demps comes and cleans it up.
I'm telling you, there's something about those Texans helmets they just don't want to stay on. This is Mumphrey trying to turn the corner. Back to about the 45-yard line. 11:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Superstars on both sides of the ball. And right now, Cam Newton, his guys, with a 1-touchdown lead. Nice day for a ride in the blimp, huh? Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. Texans looking to win their first of the season. Carolina looking to go 2-0. Mallett under center, going to straight drop and throw it. And he underthrew it. Intended for Cecil Shorts. A reminder, coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the gang back in New York with all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show.
See if the Texans take advantage of this good field position.
Chris Polk in the backfield. On 2nd and 10, far side of the field and overthrowing everybody. Intended for Hopkins, covered closely by Josh Norman.
The thing I've noticed about Josh Norman today, Greg, is he has a tendency to look back at the quarterback. He talked about trying to focus on the quarterback, and even that time, as the play's going down the sideline, he faces back, squares up, and tries to jump. That's the second or third time today we've seen him do that. So.
Third and 10. Mallett over the middle and a bullet in and out of the arms. Is that a completion? If it's a completion, it's a fumble. Josh Norman covering. They're going to talk about it.
Well, you have to remember the rule here. Not only
It is ruled a catch and a fumble.
You have to have both feet down, you have to have the ball secure, and you have to be making a football move.
There's the catch.
1, 2.
Thomas Davis with the hit, forcing the fumble.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. Firestone Tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. And by Dodge.
Welcome back. Clete Blakeman about ready to make his announcement. The question is if Cecil Shorts III made a football move with the ball.
After review the play, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball, therefore it is incomplete pass. Brings up 4th down, the previous spot. Please put 11 minutes, 31 seconds, 11:31 on the game clock.
Let's go to Mike Carey in New York. Mike?
Hey, Greg. This year is a little different than last year. A receiver has to have control, check, 2 feet down, check, but then have the ball long enough to become a runner, to be able to ward off an opponent or avoid contact. There were no more steps after that second step. The ball stripped out, incomplete.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And the punt is going to be downed just inside the 20-yard line. So with 11:22 to play, Cam Newton and the Carolina offense back onto the field. And a reminder, next Sunday the NFL on CBS brings you doubleheader action. Trent and Jamie and I will be in St. Louis for the Steelers and the Rams. The Chargers will take on the Vikings. Then in game 2, the Bears and Seahawks take center stage. All begins with the team that'll take you all the way to Super Bowl 50. JB and the guys on the NFL Today. First down at the 20-yard line. This is Jonathan Stewart, left side, will lose yardage. Back at the 17-yard line, Vince Wilfork and Whitney Merciless with the hit.
Well, and you have to give Carolina credit for attempting to stick with the run. You mentioned earlier, Greg, that Cam Newton is leading them in rushing with 77 yards, but Jonathan Stewart now has 13 carries for only 50 yards. As the Texans defense tries to keep them one-dimensional.
On 2nd and 11, Stewart to about the 22. I mentioned Vince Wilfork on that last play. It's strange to see Vince in anything but a New England uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, there's certain players you just you recognize as one type of uniform, and Vince was the anchor of that New England defense for so long and for many world championships. But he has a great relationship with Romeo Crennel, and when he became a free agent, Mike Vrabel was a teammate of his, you see right there, up in New England. It was easy to recruit him down here.
One of the delightful guys in the National Football League. 3rd and 8. Newton. And on the slant, trying to break on the football, intended for Devin Funchess, was Kevin Johnson, the rookie cornerback from Wake Forest. Saw it coming.
You see right here on the outside, Johnson reads that all the way. Funchess, the big 6'4" receiver out of Michigan, but Johnson planted that foot, drove on it before Funchess even did, and was in position to get the interception.
4th time today, Carolina has gone 3 and out. Keith Mumphrey back at his own 22-yard line. Booming kick. Back at the 16 and right up the middle is Mumphrey. Just across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. 9:52 to play in the 4th. Neither quarterback going to be writing home about their performances here so far today. We still have time. Chris Polk in the backfield behind Mallett. Polk with the handoff and hit right off the bat by Bené Benwickery. Just a reminder, your weekend begins here with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Washington visits Eli Manning and the New York Giants here on your home to Super Bowl 50 CBS Sports. So there's the total yardage story here in the fourth quarter. -2 for Houston and 1 for Carolina.
The official came up and was talking to Derek Newton, the left guard.
Number 72 has been identified as having medical issues. He's got to go out for one play.
And that is absolutely required by rule. Greg Mance into the lineup to replace him. Mallett throwing over the middle, intercepted. Picked off by A.J. Klein, and Klein returns it close to the 35-yard line. He started in the middle today for Luke Kuechly and comes up with the pick.
The coaches were raving about A.J. Klein, just what type of player he was, what type of pro he was, knowing that he could play multiple positions. They had no worry at all about him filling in for Luke Kuechly.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Red's Apple Ale. Pick different. And by a Subway footlong. There's nothing bigger, nothing better. Subway. Eat fresh.
Welcome back, 9:02 to play in the fourth quarter. Cam Newton, play fake, with time, going for it all, to the end zone. Touchdown! Philly Brown.
Philly Brown is one-on-one with Jonathan Joseph on the outside. Cam Newton comes off with a hard play fake. Gets the safeties to bite up. Here's the combination. Gives a little nod to the outside to get Joseph's hips turned. Then takes it inside to the post.
That is just like they drew it up. And we have let's see. They're calling for some sideline help for one of the officials. Is that line judge Carl Johnson? Walking to the near sideline. He needs a little hydration. Meanwhile, the extra point attempt is good. And with 8:53 to play in the fourth quarter, Carolina stretches its lead to 24-10.
On the hard play fake, you're going to see Demps come up in formation. He's going to bite on that fake, but you're going to see the route just a nod to the outside with a deep post. So as Cam Newton comes off of this hard play fake, he sees the safety drop. Sees Brown with that outside nod. So here's the route here. The safety's way behind. He has no help over the top. Cam Newton puts it in a place, and Philly Brown jumps up, catches it at its highest point, so it doesn't allow Jonathan Joseph to come up and make a play. And as we've learned over the last couple of seasons, you have to finish the catch to the ground. Philly Brown does finish the catch.
You know, you really have to do some jumping if you're going to high-five Cam Newton.
I like the excitement that he brings to the field. He definitely enjoys playing football. You can get that from him.
A.J. Klein's interception. Set it up. And this ball will sail through the end zone for the touchback. One more look at another touchdown pass for Cam Newton today. And this one right on the money. And then for the fans, it's football giveaway day here in Charlotte.
Man, you see the smile on his face. Up by 2 touchdowns their fourth quarter. They'll make you smile like that, Greg.
So Mallet, now we get a penalty marker on the near side of the field.
There is no foul in the play for a defensive hold. The pass was in the air at the time the foul occurred. Play is called legitimate. It's second down.
Meanwhile, Carl Johnson coming back onto the field after being treated on the sideline. A little heat exhaustion. Good man, Carl. 2nd and 1. Mallet lofts it up, has a man open, and he hits him. 30, inside the 25 is Nate Washington. Lost his footing, thought he had 6 and couldn't maintain the balance.
Ryan Mallett has time. Nate Washington here at the top of your screen. Mallett just laying it up over the top.
So all the way down to the 23-yard line, 48-yard pickup. And here are the Texans knocking on the door. Mallet over the middle, inside the 15-yard line to DeAndre Hopkins.
Being down by 2 scores, the defense knows what the Texans are going to do. So for this depleted offensive line, kind of a patchwork offensive line that they've put together here, giving Mallet time to throw, especially these last 2 completions.
Mallet stepping up, throwing, incomplete. Intended for Cecil Shorts III. 7:26 on the clock.
That time Carolina showing like they were going to bring pressure and dropping out into the cover 2 and dropping back in zone, forcing Mallet to try and hit the underneath throw.
On 2nd and 10, the Bass. Looked like the same play from just a moment ago, inside the 10 to the 8-yard line to Cecil Shorts III.
Well, being down 2 touchdowns, you would definitely think this is 4-down territory here. So you have 2 downs to pick up the first down. They need to get it to, looks like just around the 3-yard line. So look for a little bit more of the same.
Bill O'Brien
trying to work the inside.
Bill O'Brien was in 4-down territory back in the first quarter.
He was.
3rd and 4. Now lobbing for Polk out of the backfield. And it'll be 4th and 4.
That's just recognizing that the defensive end was peeling off on your running back, so he just tried lobbing it out there, hoping that Polk could run underneath it.
So what's been working for Ryan Mallet?
Well, I think Carolina is going to show pressure, but then ultimately drop out into coverage. So they've got to find those inside windows that they were on the previous part of this drive.
And we are going to get a timeout. Timeout with 6:38 remaining. Carolina uses its second here in the second half. And a reminder, coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the guys will have latest scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. Just a reminder, Texans can get a first down at the 3-yard line.
So based on what they've been doing this drive, look for something inside again. They're going to spread things out with moving Polk out into the formation, spreading him out wide with the 3 wide receiver look. Got Graham in there. Garrett Graham is the tight end, the stand-up tight end to the left. Right now, all this shifting and movement and talking that's going on is just to find a declaration and find out if they're in man-to-man or zone, where he wants to go with this ball quickly.
Mallett pulls it down, gonna run for it, gonna get there for the touchdown. Mallett escaped the rush and looked up and had a wide open field. A couple of times in this game we've seen one team score and the other team answer.
Well, and that's the one thing you can get caught up in when you're facing Ryan Mallett. You're thinking, okay, he's not the mobile guy. Brian Hoyer's the mobile guy, so let's go man-to-man and let's tie everybody up, but you don't assign anybody to the quarterback because you're not thinking Mallett's going to be the mobile guy to run around, and nobody assigned to Ryan Mallett there. He sees everybody covered and has a window to get it into the end zone.
Mallett engineers an 80-yard drive in just 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And Houston back to within a touchdown again at 24-17 with 6.5 to play.
But what's the combination of receivers? So you have 3, including the tight end Graham here, and you have Polk out here with DeAndre Hopkins. And what happens is with them dropping into their routes, you watch everybody lock in. You got 3 on 2 up here. You've got 4 on 3 down here. But this entire part of the middle of the field is wide open. As Ryan Mallett steps up and is looking for it, that's why no one's open. You have 3 on 2 and 4 on 3, but nobody's assigned. Mallett recognizes that, has a window or lane to get it into the end zone.
Seven plays, 80 yards. And still plenty of time. Plenty of time. Timeout situation. Houston has 2 remaining. Carolina has 1. And Fozzie Whitaker will run this one out of the end zone. 20. Breaks through close to the 30-yard line. Carlos Thompson with the tackle. Those of you just joining us, number 1 has had himself a heck of a day, Trent.
Well, here's the touchdown pass early on to Ted Ginn, who's on a double move on the outside. Then Cam Newton with Superman gets flipped into the end zone, then follows it up with a touchdown pass to Philly Brown on their last possession. That's how Carolina got to their 24 points.
A look at the numbers on the day so far. Meanwhile, for Houston, it's been a little bit slower going as Ryan Mallett, the new starting quarterback, has worked his way into a rhythm here in the second half. Jonathan Stewart pulls his way close to the 35-yard line.
Well, and it's important to point out, you talk about Ryan Mallett in that first half, the Houston Texans had 93 yards of offense at halftime. In the second half, they have 178 yards of offense. So you mentioned Mallett getting into a little bit of a rhythm, and obviously they're getting some points on the board, feeling much more comfortable as they've been able to move this ball in the second half.
And we talked about at the beginning of the day how unusual it is that a head coach would change quarterbacks just 1 game into the season, and not because of injury.
Well, and Coach O'Brien was able to tell us, he said, you know what, Ryan Mallett got into that 4th quarter against Kansas City, gave us a spark, and I want to see what he can do. I'm not going to be a a quick trigger with him. I want to see him ride it out. So when things were struggling there in the first half, we knew that he was going to stick it out with Mallett for the second half, and things have turned around for him.
Well, he was bombarded all week with that question, wasn't he?
And he was very nice about it. He knew we were going to ask it. He knew it would eventually come around, but he was prepared for it and had the answer that definitely backed it up.
3rd and 2 now for Newton. The play fake to Stewart. Newton throws it back, and wide open is Greg Olsen. Olsen, midfield, 40, 35-yard line, and the first down. 27-yard pickup.
What the Carolina Panthers are going to do, they're going to overload and put an extra offensive lineman to one side and put Olsen. Olsen's going to be on the short spot here, lined up as a tackle, but he's eligible, and he's going to sneak out the back. Cam Newton's going to roll out this way. You get the defense to draw across. You bite them in, you feed them in, and then Olsen sneaks his way over to that backside, and you hit the throwback for the big game.
Olsen had just 1 catch last week. He has 6 for 70 yards today. This is Stewart. And for those of you who have just joined us, J.J. Watt has not been the disrupting force that one would normally expect.
He's had some plays, but he hasn't been the consistent force. Carolina has done a nice job mainly double teaming him. You'll see him with guards and tackles, sometimes tackles with a tight end. Very rarely do you see a running back on him, but they're putting a lot of big bodies on him and trying to wear him down, especially in the second half. You look at time of possession, it's been a case where they're trying to wear him out.
3:45 to play in the 4th. This is Tolbert. Tolbert back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Brian Cushing, Whitney Merciless combined for the tackle.
The Texans, because of the score, because of the situation and the time left, they're putting a lot of guys down in the box, putting a lot of defenders near that line of scrimmage. See J.J. Watt's day. 7th straight game with a sack.
Three minutes to play. 3rd and 9, and a big down for the Houston defense. Newton pumps once, throwing, incomplete. Inside the 10-yard line, intended for Olsen. And covered well down there by Quentin Demps and by Raheem Moore.
Well, that's a prime example of the protection and the time that Cam Newton has had most of this afternoon. Really nowhere for Cam to put that ball. Try and put it high and on the back shoulder and see if Olsen can't get it, as the Panthers are lining up to try a 53-yarder.
53-yarder. Gano 0 for his last 3 from 50 or more yards going back to last year. This one on his way and not even close. This one was blocked at the line of scrimmage. So look at the field position now that the Houston Texans get, with 2:44 to play and 2 timeouts.
It appears that Jared Crick right here, number 93, it appears he's the one that's going to get a hand on it. You'll see the push. He's lined up right next in between Wilfork and Watt.
Knew he got a hand on it.
And now because of that attempt, this gives the Texans good field position with 2:44 to go.
Mallett and company from the 43. Bounces off of the shoulders of Chris Polk out of the backfield. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, now, and this will be interesting to see what Carolina decides to do defensively. Do they keep with their 4 and their 3-man pressures and try and drop into coverage and keep everything in front of them? Or do you continue with the pressure, bring those linebackers, go with some man-to-man? If you go with what they've been doing, they're just going to rush the 4, try and drop guys in coverage, and see if Mallett can make those accurate throws up the field.
This is Polk. Polk shakes a tackler in the backfield. 45. Works his way to the sideline. Clock continues to move as he'll be marked down at the 47-yard line. Thomas Davis with the tackle. 2:25 to play.
That time Carolina decided to bring pressure, brought pressure from the strong side. Mallett recognizing it, checking to the run away from that pressure. Now on third downs, they try and get the crowd noise into this.
3rd and 6.
Got man-to-man down here. Hopkins and Norman.
Mallett with a bullet, and DeAndre Hopkins wasn't looking.
Going to get a roughing the quarterback, it looks like.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94. Late hit on the quarterback. Penalties 15 yards to their previous spot. First down, Houston.
Defensive end, Coney Ely.
They had a perfect design here. Ely's the one coming off the edge. He's going to get the penalty here. But they had a disguise of pressure, so Mallett thinks he has man-to-man. You can see Ely takes a couple extra steps as he hits Mallett. Makes no sense. You got him off the field, bringing up a key 4th down. All of a sudden, you give him 1st down.
Give us to Polk. Polk to the 35, and that takes us under 2 minutes. 1:56 to play here in Charlotte. Houston looking for the tying touchdown. Along with Trent Green and Jamie Erdahl, Greg Gumbel back in Charlotte. A game that started sluggishly has turned into a heck of a tussle. 24-17. Carolina, a minute 56 to play. Houston looking for the tying score. Mallett needs the 28-yard line for a first down. Mallett under pressure and under throws, and Chris Polk was covered out here by A.J. Klein. It'll be 3rd and 7.
3rd and 7. Mallett still has to remember, with a minute 51 left in this game, he still has plenty of area in the middle of the field. He can't just look to the outside. It's not like he's down on his own 20-yard line. He's in good field position here, so utilize the space, utilize the open parts of the middle of the field as you approach this 3rd down.
And down 7, there is no thought of a field goal here. 3rd and 7. Mallett throwing, complete. Nate Washington. And Washington, let's see where his forward progress is marked, very close to a first down.
I cannot tell you how difficult of a catch that is by Nate Washington. That is a fastball behind him as he's running inside. He has to reach behind him and make this catch. They stop it for a measurement. Washington's going to be at the top of the screen, and he comes inside. Incredible catch, reaching back to get it. Here's the first down line. Here's where the receiver is. Washington trying to get to the ball. It appears on that replay. Just a little bit short.
So 4th and inches.
But on the replay, it looks like a good spot. So I don't, even though it's under 2 minutes, from a spot standpoint, I think that was a good location that they marked that ball. Fourth down, you have a patchwork offensive line, Greg. You got three different guys up front because of injuries. Guys sliding to new positions. The success.
And now we're going to have a timeout taken by Houston. That is their second. So each team down to 1 timeout.
He set the game clock to 1 minute 27 seconds. 1:27.
So with the success that Mallett has had throwing the football, do you throw it or do you run it here for the first down?
Well, on 4th and short, I guess they're taking another look at this to see if the spot is good. He's clearly short of the line. Actually, I think he was even further away from the line than what they ultimately spotted it. It's only going to be a few inches away. So where they've had success running the football is by spreading people out and then trying to get the run inside. So I think you do that again. I think you spread everybody out. If Carolina decides to bring that pressure, to put all those guys in there, then you do one of your rub routes on the outside. If they decide to keep everybody expanded, and the Texans are doing opposite. They brought in big bodies trying to run the ball.
This is Polk. Polk fighting for first down yardage, and he gets it to the 26-yard line. A minute 16, a minute 15 to play. Carolina 1-0, Houston 0-1, looking for win number 1 on the season, just looking for a tie game here right now. Mallett, a bullet to the 20-yard line and complete to Cecil Shorts III.
You still have time, 50 seconds here left in the half. You still have one timeout. Mallett needs to understand you can utilize the middle of the field like he did on that last completion.
2nd and 4. Mallett throwing it far side, threw it away. Stops the clock with 32 seconds to play. And it'll be a 3rd and 4.
Smart decision, stopping the clock, throwing the ball away, realizing there's pressure coming up the pocket. On 3rd down now, with 30 seconds, you need to continue to put the ball in the air. So you can still utilize the middle of the field. So because you're close to the end zone, you utilize the middle of the field, you can get everybody up and spike the ball. You don't have to burn the timeout if he's inbounds. It's different than having the full field where you have to stretch. Because everybody's condensed and close together, you can still get a ball inbounds, get the 1st down and spike it and save that timeout.
And we get a timeout called by Carolina.
Carolina takes 3rd and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
So Carolina is out of timeouts now. Would you feel good running the football here?
I wouldn't. I would continue to throw it. I think you spread them out again. You see what they're going to do. What Carolina has shown is they bring their safeties down, or one of the 2 safeties, to act like they're going to bring pressure, and then they bail them out so that they have help over the top. Don't give up the big plays. They're trying to disguise some things. But I think you continue to work the middle of the field. You only need 4 yards to get the 1st down. So go up, get the inside receivers to clear out in the middle, get your outside guys to come rubbing underneath. You pick up the 1st down, get down. You can spike the ball. That'll give you around 20 seconds with a timeout left and a 1st down around the 12-yard line.
3rd and 4. Mallett going for the end zone and overthrows everybody, and we have a flag on the far side of the field.
It was Ely that was offsides. He got leaning on that snap count, and if Mallett had realized that, you could just throw a jump ball in the end zone because it doesn't matter. You've got a free play.
If it is on Carolina, then it's a 1st down for Houston.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. Player was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Yardage is enough for a 1st down.
Ely, once again, making the mistake. He had the roughing the passer earlier to keep this drive going. Now getting caught with the hard count, giving him the 1st down.
Just inside the 15-yard line. 27 seconds on the clock. Mallett throwing for the end zone. Incomplete. He had a man running free at the goal line. That was Nate Washington.
You know, Greg, he did have a man running free, but he didn't have time. There was a defender got free on the inside. Even though Washington came free up the middle, you'll see Washington, he gets free up the middle, but Mallett's going to get pressure coming up the middle. He doesn't have time to sit there and wait to see which direction Washington's going to go. Had to get the ball in his hands. A smart decision on his part. Save the yardage, save the timeout.
2nd and 10. Mallett under pressure. Going down. Tried to throw it away. Says it's an incomplete pass. What do the officials say? Clock continues to move and now stopped with 9 seconds to play.
Well, here's the problem. Even if it is an incomplete pass, it's going to be intentional grounding. So that's the mistake that Mallett makes on this. Is I know he doesn't want to go down with the ball, but go down with the ball, use the timeout, and then it gives yourself some time.
The Texans want an incompletion. The Panthers want an intentional grounding. That's the first indicator that it might be intentional grounding as he goes over to talk to Bill O'Brien. So Bill O'Brien talking about the clock. Clock continued to move even while the players were on the ground. But you know, it's a different situation, Trent. If they throw the flag, the clock stops then. But if you wait to throw the flag, there's a delay and a loss of time on the clock.
Well, and you have to remember the new rule now is you can go to replay to check the end of half and end of games. You can check the clock with the replay system.
Here's Cleat.
Okay, here's the situation. The ruling on the field is an intentional grounding in offense by the quarterback. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, plus a loss of down, which will bring up third down. Also, this situation requires a 10-second runoff. However, the Texans elect to take a timeout in order to save the 10 seconds. At the time the pass was incomplete, there were 12 seconds on the game clock. So please put 12 seconds on the game clock.
So that timeout that Houston had comes in very handy. Mallett throwing the ball away. And watch the game clock on the left side.
So here's the game clock. Here's Mallett about to go down.
So they want the game clock reset.
They could even reset it at
12,
15
but it
or
looks
16.
like going 15
yeah.
or 16, right.
So now Cleat's coming over to take a look at the replay system. Remember, that's a new rule with the replay system this year, is you can review the clock at the end of halves and end of games and in overtime.
Let's bring in Mike Carey. Mike.
Hey, Greg.
Cleat Blakeman get that right?
Yes. About the clock?
Yes.
Yes. So the rule is actually that if the clock runs out, they can fix it in replay. What happened in this case most likely was all 7 officials were on the field or watching the clock. One of the officials saw that it was an incomplete pass, looked up and saw what the time was at that point. He went and communicated that with the referee, and then they reset. That's my opinion of what happened.
All right, Mike.
And the clock should stop right when the ball hits the ground, and somebody must have seen that.
And it looked to us that that would back the clock up to around 15 or 16 seconds remaining.
It might have, but when the official looks up and sees it, he sees only what he sees on the clock. And in this case, it looks like 12 seconds.
But then is that not correctable in review?
No. The only clock situation that's reviewable is if the clock ran to 0. Then they can go back and put time on the clock, unless, of course, there was a reversal on the play.
Okay, Mike. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, as this game trudges on, can you be your own doubleheader game?
You know, I understand what Mike is saying. I understand what the letter of the law is in terms of the rule. The problem is when the ball is incomplete, the clock is ticking from 17 to 16. So it's 16 when the ball hits the ground. So the official that's in charge of that Mike says is part of the crew, that when the ball is incomplete, that's his job to look up at the clock. He waits 4 seconds until he looks up and sees the clock at 12 seconds. So there is a 4-second discrepancy between when the ball hit the ground and when the official is now claiming that the incompletion took place. So it'll be interesting to see what, here comes Cleat away from the replay booth and what was ultimately determined.
10 penalties on each side today. Here's Cleat Blakeman.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as called on the field. In addition, the back judge has confirmed with me that at the time the pass was incomplete, there were 17 seconds on the game clock. So please put 17 seconds on the game clock. Brings up third down.
So here's the play one more time. You see the game clock on the left. Mallett gets rid of the ball. It falls incomplete, and 17 seconds on the clock. Meanwhile, Mallett is looking at a 3rd and 22 with no timeouts remaining. Houston needs the 5-yard line for a first down.
You either have to throw this ball so the receiver can get out of bounds, or you have to throw it into the end zone. I don't know if you can get 2 balls snapped in the amount of time they have left.
This side, and Polk out of bounds short of the 20-yard line. 13 on the clock.
Well, if you get out of bounds, you have time for 2 more plays, but it is 4th down. So they're going to have to take a shot into the end zone.
Fourth and 16 for Houston. Mallett, loose, looking, throwing, end zone, overthrown at the back of the end zone, intended for DeAndre Hopkins.
You see Carolina only rushing 4, dropping 7 into coverage, and everybody's pretty much at the goal line or behind it. Mallett on the run comes close to passing the line of scrimmage. Cam Newton overexcited with the incompletion as he goes crazy with the win.
With that, Carolina holds on for its 2nd win in 2 outings, 24-17 over Houston. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans fall to 0-2, and Ryan Mallett's first start as a Texan falls short.
Yeah, valiant effort here in the second half. You know, they came out in the start of the 3rd quarter after halftime and put together a nice 80-yard drive. It's just Cam Newton came up with some bigger plays when needed.
Carolina Panthers have now won 6 straight regular season games going back to last season. Let's take a look at that 4th down play one more time. I want to remind you the final score, 24-17. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show for Trent and Jamie. Greg Gumbel, so long from Charlotte. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 50.